Hello and welcome to the Elementary Social Studies First Year Teacher Professional Learning Series. For this particular learning opportunity, you will need to access the School District of Waukesha Blackboard course called Elementary Social Studies. Right here, Elementary Social Studies. If you are unable to locate and access this, please seek assistance at your school. Welcome. Today, I will be going through with you how educators will facilitate a learner-driven environment that develops a discovery of multiple perspectives through inquiry, investigation, and informed action. The materials that you're going to need include having the Elementary Social Studies Blackboard site open and available to you. You will also need to have a series of handouts that will be referenced throughout this presentation. The handouts are located within the Elementary Blackboard site under Professional Development. Right here, New to Social Studies Summer Institute. There are 1, 2, 3, and 4 handouts that you will be accessing. If you don't have those ready yet, pause the presentation so that you can get those in order. Welcome. My name is Dee Garcia, and I'm the Director of Dual Language, Multilingual, and Global Education. I will be your presenter today on Elementary Social Studies. Let's make an impact. You'll be learning how to identify key shifts in social studies standards and how those shifts will drive your instruction. You'll connect social studies targets to the instructional framework of engage, investigate, and report. And you're going to interact with your curricular resources and materials. You will be successful when you know the components of the arc of inquiry, and you've examined your role as a teacher and the dispositional shifts you will need to make. You can locate the engage, investigate, and report sections of your teacher's edition, and you have an understanding of how to successfully initiate the Trimester 1 instructional unit and engage students in the unit's inquiry project. Elementary social studies standards were released in 2018-2019 and replaced the Wisconsin Model Academic Standards. As a result of the new standards and the key shifts in those standards, as well as the relative age of the instructional resources teachers had access to in our school district from 1998, the curricular renewal process was undertaken. Before you, you have some data that demonstrates that we are underserving all of our students. And we have a specific urgency to supply teachers with high quality curriculum and instructional resources to support you in meeting the needs of each and every student. We want you to be successful and to ensure ease in implementation to gain the greatest consistent impact across the district. Together, we will change these outcomes. With high-quality instructional materials, teachers will have the support to provide high-quality social studies instruction with embedded, grade-level, rigorous opportunities in English language arts, including reading, writing, vocabulary, speaking, and research. Let's get started. The first thing that you are going to do today is you are going to spend some time in your Blackboard Elementary Social Studies site. You're going to be developing a one-pager on the arc of inquiry. A one-pager is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in which you have a title around the border. After having read about the arc of inquiry and the Wisconsin state standards, you will place keywords and phrases that represent shifts for you. In the center, you will include a visual on the arc of inquiry. You will list 4 to 6 arc of inquiry shifts and any key vocabulary that you are going to need. To begin your journey, we're going to explore those key shifts in social studies. The arc of inquiry is a framework for social studies instruction that is represented by the image you see on the screen. In a moment, you are going to log into Blackboard as yourself and then search and enroll in the Elementary Blackboard course. Let me show you how that is done. We're already enrolled here, as you can see. We're going to go into the social studies overview. When you get into the social studies overview, you're going to move your cursor down, and this area called Arc of Inquiry is exactly where you're going to spend your time. If you've had any difficulty getting into the elementary social studies page, you do need to know that we do have a key that you need to use. It's a class code called SDW ELSS. If you need a moment, pause the presentation and get into the elementary social studies Blackboard site using this class code. Thanks for coming back. So as you're building your one-pager, we're going to encourage you to read all the way through the Arc of Inquiry until you get to the very bottom. We are not asking that you watch the video. We will do that together. You will also take some time to page down and review the standards to make your one-pager. Pause the page here or pause the presentation here and take the time to complete the activity. We hope that the activity went well for you and that you were able to identify some key language, some key shifts, and really address some of the shifting dispositions that you will need as a teacher. Now we're going to delve in a little bit further. You're going to need to make a Venn diagram or a T-chart on a scrap piece of paper. We will be viewing a video for about 4 minutes. This video is also in the Blackboard site for you to view later as you deepen your learning. And what we would like you to do is we would like you to focus on the role of teacher and the role of student. So label each side of your Venn diagram or T-chart with teacher and student. As you're taking notes in the note-taking guide, we would like you to be able to zone in on some of the things that you want teachers to be doing and some of the things that you want students to be doing as they engage with the Arc of Inquiry. When we come back from watching the video, you'll have some time to reflect and to make some commitments to your students. The sheet you see here before you in our social studies classroom, each learner will have the opportunity to, is linked into your handout slide. Please take a moment to locate it, because after we listen to the slide presentation, we will be interacting with it. Thanks for coming back. Let's get started. Thanks for listening. Now complete your Venn diagram and spend some time reflecting on the necessary shifts that you're planning to make in order to engage your students in the arc of inquiry. When you're finished reflecting, please go to the handout in the professional development area of Blackboard under Elementary Social Studies and locate the document which says Social Studies Commitments. Below you have the 5 stars where you're making a commitment to each and every one of your learners. We invite teachers to post this in their classrooms as a reminder of the kinds of ways that you will make social studies vibrant for your students. Pause the slides while you are engaging in this activity. Thanks for coming back. Now we're going to take a little bit of a look at the learning targets that we have established in the School District of Waukesha and how they are related to the instructional framework. To get to know our targets as aligned to the instructional framework in the McGraw-Hill Impact Resource, which is our tool, but not our curriculum, you will participate in a sort. You're going to need a pair of scissors and the printed handout. What we'd like you to do is we would like you to open the handout, which looks like this. You will be cutting the first 3 rows, the target row, the row in white, which has the target, and then the engage, investigate, and report. Just cut that out. What you will notice is that under target 1, we expect students to develop questions and plan inquiries. Target 2 and 3 kind of go together, but they're 2 separate skills. Target 2 is students apply disciplinary concepts and tools, and target 3 is students evaluate sources and use evidence. Target 4 is students communicate conclusions and engage civically. What we want you to notice over this activity is that our instructional framework is divided into 3 phases. In each trimester, students will be going through many, many cycles of engage, investigate, and report. What we'd like you to cut out are the boxes below. We'd like you to mix them up, and then we would like you to place them back in an order that works for you. An alternative to cutting and sorting would be to read through each and every one of these phases and highlight the skills, dispositions, and knowledge that you will need in order to be an effective social studies teacher. Pause the video and engage in the activity. Thanks for coming back. Now what we would like to do is we would like to unite our framework of engage, investigate, report, and the social studies curriculum. What we would like you to know is that we have prepared a trimester of study that lasts approximately 27 to 35 days. A trimester offers many more days because the instruction that is, the time that is used for the instruction of social studies is often shared with the instruction of science. So some teachers choose to teach all social studies consecutively and then all science consecutively. Some teachers have chosen to do a few days social studies, a few days science every single week. Our purpose here is to let you know that this is the general flow of teaching and learning that you and your students will engage in over the course of the trimester. So we'd like you to notice the pattern represented in this table. Each trimester will start out with a chapter overview. In the chapter overview, there are 2 essential components. The first part of the chapter overview in green is to engage your learners. There's lots of speaking, there's lots of visuals, there's lots of acting out and spatial activities in the engage. Then, following engagement, your students will be doing some initial investigation where they will be learning about their inquiry tools and getting an opportunity to understand very explicitly what the inquiry project is for the end of the unit. This helps to frame out the focus for the entire unit. Follow along with me. After the chapter overview, we begin with lessons. Lesson 1 will engage the students in the first day. There will be approximately 2 additional days for the investigate portion of that lesson and 1 day for the report and take action. And then you move on to lesson 2. There's 1 day with engage, lots of oral language, lots of visuals, map skills, touching, feeling, singing, everything. And then 2 days of investigation where students are interrogating the resource. They're doing research. they're doing reading, they're doing note-taking, and a variety of other tasks. And then there's the report and take action that follows that. That whole cycle goes over and over and over through the trimester until the students are prepared to begin to work on developing their inquiry projects. Many of our teachers are seeing the pattern whereby the report and take action pieces of each lesson actually support and become the evidence that students are using to put into their inquiry project. Okay, there are a few extra days included in the case that you might need some flexibility. And for teachers of dual language, there are days allocated for a bridge to Spanish and an extension activity in Spanish, whereby students are engaging civically in Espanol. Now let's take a look at a scavenger hunt through our social studies curriculum and our McGraw-Hill resource. You'll see the photo on your right. That is our actual social studies curriculum, whereby our teacher's edition is our resource that we're using. So I'm going to bring you back to Blackboard and show you where to get your curriculum for social studies. Okay. On the left-hand side, you're going to click into your grade level. And for this experience, I'm going to click into second grade. The first thing I'm going to see when I go into second grade is that I have the entire elementary scope and sequence here for kindergarten through fifth grade. Why might you want that? As a second grade teacher, you might want to know what your students learned in kindergarten and first grade so you can draw upon that prior knowledge and build any additional background knowledge that students might not have yet. So that is a resource that is available to you. And then your trimester 1, trimester 2, and trimester 3 curriculum are below. So let's open up trimester 1 curriculum. The first thing you're going to see when you open up the School District of Waukesha Social Studies curriculum is you are going to see which chapters are included in that curriculum. And in this case, you're seeing chapter 1 and chapter 2 are the two chapters that are included. The time frame for instruction is about 39 days. Right below that, you are going to see the overview for each of those chapters and what students are doing. You're going to see their compelling questions and the unit objectives. These are the things that we want students to know, do, and understand. Following that, you will see the unit vocabulary in both Spanish and English prepared for students and for you. There's a people you should know section, which is supported throughout the curricular resource, and then your standards. Right below the standards, you are going to see the explanation of the inquiry project. It's very important for you as an educator to review this inquiry project in detail before you start reading through the unit. It's important to know where you're going when you're entering a forest you've never walked in before. Below that, there is a parent letter in Spanish and a parent letter in English that we are asking you to send home in the beginning of each trimester. And then below that, there is a link to songs, library books, realia, and community connections for each of our grade levels that you can use to extend your students' learning. Now we get into something that's really exciting, which is our actual planner. You can see that the instructional days are listed on the left-hand side. There is flexibility. Remember, you have the entire trimester, but you're sharing time between science and social studies. As an educator, you get to determine how you would like to deliver. But what we want you to know is that when you go into each of these links here, it will take you exactly to the day that we had planned for you to be on for Engage, Investigate, and Report. So let's pretend that I'm on day 13 of instruction and I'm in Investigate. I can click here and the bookmark will bring me to that lesson plan. So you'll see in the daily lesson plan, you've got the daily learning objectives, the things that you want students to be able to know, do, and understand by the end of that particular lesson. You have the page numbers in your teacher's edition, which are indicated, as well as the page numbers in the student's research companion that they may be referencing. And you have what we would like you to focus on in the Investigate. The McGraw-Hill resource offers so much opportunity. We wanted to help to focus your attention on the things that we value here in the School District of Waukesha and the things that we want each and every student to be able to experience. you'll see that there is instructional planning to support you. There is ample opportunity to stop and check, which is formative assessment. And at the very bottom, it will give you an indicator of what the formative assessment should look like, and the lesson formative assessment and the page number. These check for success are indicators of ways that you can take formative assessment information, and if students are not ready to move forward, you can stop and you can differentiate instruction. This is important because when it says check for success, it's going to presume in the following lesson that students have mastered the skill. If students haven't mastered the skill or don't know the content, you need to ensure that before moving forward. Then we go on to day 14. So what we would like you to do is we would like you to grab your teacher's edition, open up your School District of Waukesha Trimester 1 curriculum, and grab some Post-it notes. Pause the presentation until you have those materials. Welcome back. So what you're going to do is you're going to locate in your SDW curriculum the first trimester of instruction. They will likely contain information from 2 different chapters. The first thing that we want you to do is we want you to get into your SDW curriculum and locate the inquiry project. You want to do that because you want to figure out which chapter's inquiry project you are going to guide your students through. If you have chapter 1 and chapter 2, you may be using the inquiry project from chapter 1, or you may be using the inquiry project from chapter 2. In any respect, the inquiry project happens at the end of the trimester. The next thing that we would like you to do with your Post-it notes and your teacher's edition is to notice the colors of the tops of the page. Let's have everybody open up to chapter 1 and locate the red part of chapter 1. The red part of chapter 1 supports the preparation of the teacher for chapter 1 instruction. We only really want you to focus on the assessment part of that red page. Why don't you flag that with a Post-it note? That's important because there's a pre-assessment on that page, and then the inquiry project and rubric is also on that page, and you will need both of those items. Then we would like you to get into the chapter overview, and we would like you to flag the green page that says engage, and then page through until you get to the orange pages which say investigate. This is in the overview. Remember, there's 1 day for engage, 1 day for investigate. After you've flagged those, we would like you to get into the SDW's first lesson. It may not actually be the first lesson of the chapter. You have to look at your curriculum and determine which is going to be the first lesson. When you locate the first lesson, page until you get to it, and we'd like you to flag with a Post-it note the engage, the investigate, and report. We're going to pause the presentation and we're going to spend time going through your first trimester curriculum and using your teacher's edition, flagging each one of the pages that are directed in the curriculum. You may choose to write days. You may choose to label in any way that you wish. We simply want you to be able to coordinate this SDW curriculum with the teacher's edition. So go ahead and pause the presentation until you've had ample time to carry that out. Welcome back. Well, as you know, our data indicates to us that we are underserving each and every one of our students in our district. And we have an obligation and a moral obligation and responsibility to correct the lack of access that many students are experiencing while in our care. So our next question for you is, how will we support students who are developing grade level reading and writing? Well, the first thing that we want you to know is that oral language development is very important. Every time you are in the engage portion of instruction, which includes in the overview and in each lesson, what you're rehearsing with students are the types of vocabulary words and sentence structures that they will need in order to have conversations about social studies investigations. So be attentive to oral language and the amount and the equity of discussion that is happening in your classroom. It always comes first. To support you, there are purple sections at the start of each unit. There's a 2-page spread that is labeled in purple that has all sorts of language scaffolds, reading scaffolds, and writing scaffolds, as well as innovative ways of engaging your students in discussion. There are purple guides throughout each of the lessons. They're like little bubbles that will indicate, oh, this is the way that you could support this. This is the way that you could support that. Many of them are based on supporting academic language learning, specifically for our students who are school dependent and coming to school so that they can learn both literacy, language, and content. As you're getting into Investigate with your students, you're going to choose to reduce or chunk the amount of text that you are offering to students and prioritize priority content. So you might say that you have a student that is not yet reading proficiently at the grade level, but you really want the student to be able to read proficiently with fluency and comprehension, this group of sentences. You might prioritize that and offer that to the student with your instruction. There are many areas within the curriculum where sentence frames and word banks are offered. We invite you to use your AVID strategies and conversation moves. You can also draw upon art opportunities and audiovisual recordings. The digital resource that I will get you into in a moment has many, many interactive opportunities for students to listen, to view, and to access media. Please also be thinking about strategic ways that you can get your students into collaborative small group or partner work. In the school district, we love Jigsaw and we love expert groups. Finally, the dual language department is developing an English language development curriculum that will be completed for the 22-23 school year, but is good for everyone, that helps you to make connections between the language arts and language development that all students are experiencing as they are initiating their elementary education. So the digital pathway for teachers is the next portion of the presentation. What we invite you to do is to open the digital pathway for teachers document that is linked here. Looks like this, and it will bring you through how to access your digital teachers edition and all of the resources that you will need. We want to invite you to stop the slide presentation and go through each one of the points in this document, investigating the digital resources which are available to you. You might decide, I'm not ready now, but this is something I might want to do during our first early release day. So it's okay if you want to delay it. We simply want you to know that the instructions are here on how to do it, and it will bring you through the interactive resources, the online teachers edition, and many pro tips from teachers who have been using the curriculum for many years. Thanks for coming back. The rest of the time is yours to explore the SDW curriculum, the online teachers edition, or your hard copy teachers edition. We want you to know that there is opportunity for continued learning. You do have the opportunity in Blackboard to click on professional development to get into the professional development learning for social studies. And within that, you're going to find the elementary social studies TDP. This is a course that you can take for new teacher credit. And this course will get you interacting with your digital resources through many video presentations that support the implementation of the curriculum. We hope you really enjoyed this opportunity to get to know your social studies materials. We'd like to wrap up now. What we'd like you to do is to take out your cell phone or iPad and scan the QR code. We're asking each and every new teacher to complete the survey as your exit slip to ensure that we have been able to connect you with essential information that you need as you are beginning your career in the school district of Waukesha. We're so happy you're here. We want you to be very patient in your implementation of all of our wonderful curriculum. It will take some time, and you need to give yourself lots of grace as you continue to deepen your practice. Thank you so much, and have a really wonderful year.